Yeah. Positive. Yeah, it's positive energy. Positive. Yeah, it's positive energy. Yeah. Positive. Yeah, it's positive energy.
Yo, it's positive vibes equals positive energy. Prior to coming into this video, man, I need you guys to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's Designer J, designerjscollections.com. This is where I do a lot of studies regarding God and the Bible, and I like to give little gems that I'm learning. And on this video, man, the title of this video is called Your Perspective Shapes the Way You See Others. I'm going to say that again, man. Your perspective, the perspective you have of other people shapes the way you see them. Now, I'm not sure who's making the perspective, right? Who's making the perspective of everyone? Who's creating the perspective of every person? Think about that. Who's creating the way we look at each other? Who's doing that? Besides yourself, in the world, who's creating the perspective of other people? That's just a question that I want you to think, right? But in this video, right, we're going to get into it. I'm Designer J. I create blogs. And today, we're going to go over one of the blogs I created. All right. Your perspective shapes the way you see others. Think about that. In any form, any way, you know, you can see a person as a mom, right? You can see a woman as a mom. You can see a guy as a little brother, or as a father figure, or as a brother figure. You get what I'm saying? The way your perspective is set is the way you're going to see that person. Here we go. In life, the way we view others is often more about our own perspective than it is about what that person truly is. Just as a pair of tinted glasses changes the color of everything you see, your mindset, past experiences, and heart condition shape the way you perceive people. When you look at someone with love, patience, and understanding, you begin to see their humanity, their struggles, hopes, and growth. But when your vision is clouded by bitterness, jealousy, and assumption, you no longer see that person as they are, but as your emotions project them to be. And that's so facts, man. That is so true. Um, Let me try to explain this. All right. Let me try to explain what it's saying. Um, it's plain and simple, you know. Um, it's about you. You get what I'm saying? It's about your thoughts. It's about what you think. And if you're projecting the wrong type of thing on a person, that's not going to be good. And this is why you have to protect. I mean, you have to understand how you're looking at somebody. You get what I'm saying? You got to really understand how you're looking at a person. In what way? The Bible reminds us of this truth in Matthew chapter 7, verse 3. Okay, it says, "And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thy own eye?" Now, in this verse, he's talking about something totally different, right? He's talking about something totally different. And it's using this verse to describe um, how I'm talking about the perspective. But in this verse, he's not talking about that. In this verse, he's talking about something specific regarding God. You get what I'm saying? This verse is not talking about the way you're looking at a person. This verse is talking about doing things right and wrong according to God, right? But what I'm talking about is the perspective in which we see each other in America. This verse teaches that our perception can be distorted when we fail to examine ourselves. First, we can easily magnify someone else's flaws while being blind to our own. The beam represents our perspective. If it's not aligned with truth, humility, and love, it will block us from seeing others clearly. Everyone doesn't have those qualities, but um, you have to understand the difference between of how people look at you. Changing your perspective doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means looking through a renewed mind or a changed mind. You know, when you view people through the eyes of compassion, you start to understand that everyone is a work in progress, just like you. You stop labeling and start listening. You start judging and start understanding. In essence, your view of others is a mirror of your heart. If your heart is full of grace, you'll see grace in others. If your heart is full of anger, you'll see faults everywhere you look. So before you judge someone's character and situation, pause and ask yourself, am I seeing them through the eyes of truth or through the eyes of my own pain and pride? Because a lot of people see people through their own pain and pride and not through just pure of who they are. When your perspective changes, your relationships change, your peace grows, and most importantly, your ability to love as Christ loved, freely and without bias, begins to flourish. But the Lord said unto Samuel, "Look not on his countenance, or on the height of his stature, for the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart." And this is something deep. This is not nothing. This verse actually is something deep. I'm using these verses because I really know what this verse is talking about. And this verse is not talking about that. This is something that's very deep. When you learn to see with the heart, not the eyes, your whole world and everyone in it looks different. True. A lot of people like to see with color. A lot of people like to see with the color of a person's skin. A lot of people like to see people in the act of what they do. So a lot of people would judge people based off your actions. A lot of people would judge people based off the color of your skin. A lot of people will judge people, based off of certain gestures that you do with your body. A lot of people will judge people based off the way you dressed. A lot of people will have a negative perspective of people based off of the way you're looking. You get what I'm saying? People are very sensitive. In this video, I wanted to highlight how your perspective changes the way you see people. And